That's
Khalil wilding out like Nick Cannon in the gym. What's he doing?
There's times like we've gotten over the years. He's one of my favorite and least favorite people to work with at the same time, just because everything he does,
the best worst compliment
everything he does is so hard. And so, but we've got such a good flow. Like we'll go for 30 minutes without even, calling anything out. We just get a good flow. And I'll tell you this, I learn just as much. I come up with new things. Like every time we have a session, I guarantee you, like something new popped up. We're like,
something new. Yeah. And then
let's do that. Let's do that. And the next time we might forget about it and learn something new. We're like, hey, what was that thing we did last time? I got to get better about writing the stuff down. But it's so much fun to like be creative like that. But there are times like, I think it was we had an open workout. So a lot of times we started having open workouts at the gym with these guys having these big fights, a UFC camp, everybody filmed. And he was down in the dungeon doing the interviews, and somebody had asked him some shit that pissed him off. So he comes up to me and he's like, hey, I just want to smash. I'm ready to kill. I was like, oh my God. Okay. So I just put on the biggest body pad I had and we just went at it. And it was one of those things where it was like, that was the first time I think in a long time where I was like, I'm going to die here. He was just swinging, and a lot of times it's my job. He's throwing, I'm catching, and we can just read each other. It was violent. There's times like that where, hey, he's just in a mood and you got to let him have that mood, and let it get out. But we've worked together for so long that, like I said, I think we both can do this with our eyes closed at this point.
There's a lot of trust there. There's a lot of trust. But yeah, that day after the open workouts, the media was silent. They were just like,
people came up to me. They're like, "Man, are you okay?" Like physically, emotionally, not so much.
But it's been like that from the start. I think that like I was saying before, John's adaptability and his willingness to just like understand the fighter. When I was first starting, I had zero control. I didn't know anything but to just swing hard and swing big. And so he adapted and was catching these big things, but then allowing me to flow into other things, spinning kicks, all this stuff, because he was just like there to catch. And then that opened me up to be more comfortable with just my own style. He wasn't like, okay, put your foot here and pivot on the front foot, like all of those little small, like the little small details. That wasn't happening. He was just like, okay, he suited up and he was just like, all right, I'm going to hold for this big dude. And then he's just catching. And then on those, because of those things that he was doing, I was developing new skills. He was kind of bringing these new skills out of me. And then we'd, then start to kind of implement and come up with our own names for certain things. Or maybe I make a big over-swinging mistake, but it can turn into something that he sees. And I think that's really been a huge part of the just like development and growth of just my skill set, is that I've got someone that's not trying to put me in a box, but like he allows the box to expand. And then he puts in his expertise and experience into that large box.